The executive powers are further illustrated in the case of Almario versus Executive Secretary. In this case, it is for the evaluation of the 2009 Order of National Artists. And the deliberation panel comprised of the Cultural Center of the of the Philippines Board of Trustees, National Commission for Culture and the Arts Commissioners, Board of Commissioners, and the Living National Artists agreed to recommend to the President the names of Manuel Conde, Ramon Santos, Lazaro Francisco, and Federico Aguilar Alquaz. The list of awardees shall be submitted to the President for confirmation, proclamation, and conferral. Now, the Committee on Honors that serves as the National Awards Committee is headed by the Executive Secretary as a chairman. And the Office of the President allegedly received nominations from various sectors, cultural groups, and individuals, nominating Cecil Guidote Alvarez, Carlo J. Caparas, Francisco Manyosa, and Pitoy Moreno. And they were proclaimed or issued as national artists in proclamations number 1824 to 1829. And let's see what are the benefits of a national artist. So they will have a monthly pension, medical life and life insurance, arrangements for a state funeral, a place of honor at national state functions, and recognition at cultural events. So the issue in this case is whether or not there was grave abuse of discretion in the removal of Dr. Santos in the conferment of the Order of National Artists and the irregular and questionable addition of Guidote Alvarez, Caparas, Manyosa, and Moreno conferred by the President. So it was ruled by the Supreme Court that the President's power must be exercised in accordance with the existing laws. So in Section 17, Article 7 of the Constitution prescribes that faithful execution of the laws by the President, that the President shall have control of all the executive departments, bureaus, and offices. He or she shall ensure that the laws be faithfully executed. And the discretion of the President in the matter of the Order of National Artists is confined to the names submitted to him or her by the NCCA and the CCP boards. And the President could not have considered conferment of the Order of National Artists on any person not considered and recommended by the NCCA and the CCP boards. So there was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 1987 Constitution, wherein the President gave preferential treatment to Guidote Alvarez, who is the wife of former Senator Alvarez, Carlo J. Caparas, Manyosa, and Pitoy Moreno. It was ruled that the President committed grave abuse of discretion in issuing the conferment orders. So after discussing the extent of the powers of the executive branch, now we go to power of control. And it is reflected on the provisions in Article 7, Section 17, and in the Administrative Code of the Philippines, Chapter 10, specifically on Section 31, wherein the President has the continuing authority to recognize his office, and the President, subject to the policy in the executive office, and in order to achieve simplicity, economy, and efficiency, shall have continuing authority to reorganize the administrative structure of the office of the President. So for this purpose, he may take any of the following actions. So there are three. One is to the restructure the internal organization of the office of the President proper by abolishing, consolidating, or merging units thereof, or transferring functions from one unit to another. And then two is the transfer any function under the office of the President to any other department or agency, as well as transfer functions to the office of the President from the other departments and agencies. And lastly, transfer any agency under the office of the President to any other department or agency, as well as transfer agencies to the office of the president from other departments or agencies. And this is illustrated in the case of Banda versus Ermita, focusing on the National Printing Office. So this class suit was filed on behalf of the selected National Printing Office employees due to the issuance of the President Arroyo that time, of Executive Order 378, which removes the exclusive jurisdiction of the National Printing Office over the printing services requirement of other government agencies, and it's allowing to source their printing services from the private sector through competitive bidding, subject to the conditions of the NPO. And it is contended that the President Arroyo cannot amend or repeal Executive Order number 285, the creation of the National Printing Office, by the mere issuance of another executive order. So petitioners maintain that the former President Aquino's EO 285, which is a legislative enactment, as the same was issued with while President Aquino still had legislative powers under the Freedom Constitution. And the issue is whether or not the issuance of Executive Order number 378 would lead to the eventual abolition or restructuring of the NPO and would violate the security of tenure of NPO employees under Section 31 of the Administrative Code of 1987. And the ruling of the Supreme Court is that the petition was denied because SC ruled that the President may be may issue executive or administrative order, they can direct the reorganization of government entities under the executive department. And this is also sanctioned by under the Constitution as well as other statutes. So these are the provisions that support the ruling. So that's Section 17 of Article 7 and Section 31 as mentioned earlier.